If you're into synths and sound design, you might want to watch this one. Have a little listen to this first. So all those lovely synth sounds and effects you just heard were coming from Cherry Audio's MemoryMode 2. Now have a quick look on screen. This is the original MemoryMode. This is the interface. Still a fantastic sounding synth in my opinion. Based on Moog's MemoryMoog Polysynth. However, Cherry Audio have decided to put this thing up on the ramps, stripped it bare, took the wheels off, took the engine out, all that malarkey, and done some serious upgrading. I can't help it. I'm a mechanic to trade. Never minding all the wonderful new additions, the biggest upgrade in here is now the dual layer architecture in here. So no matter what I show you on screen here, you're getting 2 synths worth of that via this little section here. You now have an upper layer and a lower layer, completely independent. So you can make up huge layered up synth stacks or split the keyboard into 2 and all that kind of stuff. So that's the big upgrade. I'll show you how that works in a second, but I want to go over some of the other upgrades in here, and bearing in mind you're getting 2 times that. First of all, the actual analog modeling under here, under the hood, has been vastly improved and much more faithful to the original Moog, especially in the oscillator section and the filter section. I'm going to quickly map that cutoff to my slider here. There we go. And for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to add in a bit of reverb quickly, just to let you hear how smooth that cutoff is now. Isn't that rather lovely, that Moog ladder filter? While we're in the filter section, I'm going to show you this little extra button here called Emphasis Compensation. This is really handy on basses and things like that. This is the emphasis control turned off, and a bit of emphasis, which is obviously resonance. And as you can tell, when I turn the cutoff down, you're going to lose some bottom end and some volume. Right down in that area there, the volume goes down. Now, while I'm holding that note, just going to click on the emphasis compensation. Finding that hard to say at the moment. Instantly, it brings that volume up. So you bring that bottom end back in. Turn it off again. On. So you're not going to use that on everything, but certainly on sounds where you want a more rounder bottom, that's going to be really nice. I wish I had a rounder bottom. Now, when it comes to presets, a whopping round about 800 presets, so you're getting another 200 MemoryMode version 2 presets on top of the 600 odd you had from MemoryMode 1. So you're not short of choices. Let's use Stabby Synth for showing you some other of the new features. Now heading over to the voices area here in the top left, you can see when I play a note, you can see by the LEDs how many voices I'm playing. If I play a 1 note, 1 LED, 1 voice. Chord, 4 or 5, how many notes you're playing, how many voices you're playing. And this is where we can set up how those voices are used, whether you're in poly mode for playing chords or in mono mode to play leads and basses. However, I want to head back to poly mode and look at some of the extra options now we have. PolyMode 6 gives us full MPE support. So if you're lucky enough to have one of those MPE boards like the C board and all that malarkey, you're going to have some mega fun with this. But I want to head to PolyMode number 5, Multivoice. This switches on the Multivoice section here. Now with Multivoice, you can really enhance the analog feel of the synth or use it as a complete sound design tool. So I'll show you a little bit of both. Let's look at the pitch section here. First of all, I'm going to go a bit wacky and alter the pitch of these voices by a full octave. So up a full octave with that voice and down a full octave with that voice. Now, because I'm in poly mode there like that, it's just staying on the same note. However, if I use these cycle options here, you can hear now that the pitch is alternating in octaves. Now that's looping. We can also ping pong that, so it's going to go brib, brib, brib. Or we can have it going completely random, which is my kind of favorite. This is also really nice when you're playing chords. Let me just up the cutoff a little bit, and we're going to add just a little bit more reverb. Going to come back to the effects section in a second. But when I play a single chord now, not moving my fingers, however, if we narrow those values down somewhat to just barely going out of tune, just very subtle, but it's randomly putting those voices out of tune, kind of like it would be on the real Moog, because every voice, because of the circuitry, wouldn't behave exactly the same every time a voice was activated. If I can turn that just a little bit out of kind of niceness, you can hear the pitch. That Moog needs a service. We can do the same with pan, cutoff, VCA attack, and VCA release. So let's play around with pan. On voice number 2, let's whop this round to full on right, and voice number 4, left. You're not going to hear this unless you're in a stereo situation. You're not going to hear this on your phone, but these voices are going all over the place. Super nice on big pads. Woo. Oh, seriously nice. So without touching anything else in the synth, playing around with some presets and just the multi-voice section here, oh, you can make up some killer sounds. Now let's look at the touch section. Here we can actually dynamically alter various parameters via aftertouch. By the way, you can see the aftertouch LED meter down in the bottom right hand corner. So you get 4 touch control knobs. And on any of those knobs, you can assign a parameter. So on touch knob number 1, let's control the cutoff. Now, depending on where you put your knob, whether that's in the positive values or the negative values, that relates to the value of the parameter that you've linked it to. That sounds very complicated, so I might as well just show you. So let's add some positive value to the cutoff. And when I use the aftertouch now, you'll hear the cutoff kicking in with aftertouch. Positively. Let's move that into the negative area. But that's just using one knob. Like I say, you have 4 to play with, and you can set all these up independently with all these types of parameters. Now, when it comes to modulation, this is a bit of a monster. In the modulation section here, this section here kind of looks similar to version 1. However, you're now getting 2 independent modulation sections. So almost infinite possibilities when it comes to modulation, combined with voice modulation, as you can use voice number 3 here as an oscillator as well. But this will work on a per voice situation. So every single voice activated can be modulated independently too, so you can get some very intricate sounds. Now think of that in your dual architecture here. You're going to have 4 modulation sections and 2 of those voice modulators, 2 all working independently. In the output section over here, we have a little button that says Modern. Now, Modern gives you a little smiley EQ curve, so you get a little bit more rounded bass and a bit more crispy high end. So you can try this on and off depending on what you're doing, but Modern gives you another little extra sound design type of tool. Now let's hit the motion button down in the bottom left. The keyboard will disappear. Here's where you can set up your arpeggios and all that malarkey. Ooh, that pan thing's still going. I've chosen a bass preset and added a little bit of cutoff control in the touch section so that my aftertouch is again changing the filter. However, in this section here, we have a polyphonic sequencer and a feature called Touch Animator. What we can now do is sequence and animate those controls. The T1 button corresponds to touch 1, T2, touch 2, etc. Let's just quickly add in some values. I have no idea how this is going to sound. I'm going to fast forward the video here because this is going to take a while. So if I press start, you can hear the cutoff completely automated and animated. Now you can obviously sync this to your DAW or whatever you're using. And you can alter things like swing and chance and all those lovely things. And you can also see the touch dial being activated by the sequencer. And you can animate all 4 of those knobs independently. So endless, really. Now remember, all this is per layer. So you can do all that again in your other layer independently. Now you can get that to work complementary so that both layers are kind of working in the same way, or you can make them argue with each other, whatever you want to do. Now this also, like I said earlier, acts as a polyphonic sequencer. So let's quickly, for some fun, add some chords to the sequencer. Press live record, and with each step you can play whatever you want on the keyboard. I'm just going to go random. Very cool. And you can also change the way that the sequencer moves. So you can loop it like we were just doing there, or we can ping pong it so it's going backwards and forwards. Awesome. Or my favorite, random. You never know what you're getting. And again, completely independent per layer. Now let's quickly head to the effects section. Hit the effects button down in the bottom left. This is the prettiest area of the whole synth, in my opinion. The way these effects look and sound just makes me want to explore and explore and explore. It really is the icing on the cake, as effects are when it comes to synths. I'm going to wipe those effects out and just make up a basic sound. The Cherry Audio boys and girls have given us a couple of new ones. For a start, the wide phaser. Wow. And the lush verb has been thoroughly enhanced. Let's make this a bit moody. And if we change that modulation depth, it gets a little bit wonky. Oh, that's rather nice. They've also now given us the rotary speaker from the Blue 3 organ. And I have to say, I mean, I've never used a rotary type of thing on a synth before, but this is awesome. Now you can put up to 5 effects in a chain, and that's per layer. The upper layer you can see is red, and the lower layer is in green. And this is one of my favorite little things of this particular synth, and something that Cherry Audio does a lot in their dual layer type of synths. You can work on your upper layer there, which is all red LEDs. But to instantly know if you're editing the other layer, all of your LEDs turn green. So you know instantly which layer you're working on. Really nice. Here I'm altering the cutoff on the lower layer. You can also balance between the 2 layers. So if I wanted just the lower layer to sound, or if I wanted to change to the upper layer, that's now just the upper layer that sounds. Let's go between the 2 a little bit. Let's take the cutoff back up on the lower layer. Because we can also split the layers, like so. So on the left hand side, bass, right hand side, and you can change the split point with this little arrow here. Sorry, I got carried away. I'm a bit of a Jean-Michel fan. So like I said at the start, if you're a synth fan or into sound design, this is a serious amount of synth power for not a lot of money. Let me know what you think. I'm going to leave all the links in the description as always, so see you in the next one.